We are starting a series regarding of how to fulfill the laws of Tzedakah and Maaseh. Tzedakah is usually translated as charity, and Maaseh meaning tithing. And one of the things that we're going to look at is how to fulfill this commandment or the mitzvah of Tzedakah. In fulfillment of the mitzvah of Tzedakah, there are different levels as well as varying methods of how to do it. The Rambam categorizes this commandment or the mitzvah into 8 levels of ma'alot, which is arranged in descending order of priority. And you'll see it also in the book To Be a Jew. Those of you who are in the process of converting, in this part or in this video, we're going to look at the Rambam's 8 levels and then elaborate on some other aspects of giving tzedakah, either in this video or in the next video. Rambam has 8 levels. The first level, you shall strengthen him. The highest level of tzedakah is for one to make it possible for a poor person, indigent person, not to need help from others. For example, by giving a poor person a gift or a loan, or finding him a job in your business or employment, this level is achieved. Ideally, the action should be taken prior to one's reaching the point of poverty or needing more desperate help. However, one can certainly fulfill this level of tzedakah even after the stage of poverty was arrived at or reached. By giving tzedakah in this manner, one fulfills the mitzvah of achatzitechta bo, helping to strengthen one in need, giving him that arm up. In general, anything that would allow the individual to become self-sufficient would follow into this category. Even a business partnership, even being an investor into a business opportunity is also another aspect of this incredible work. Similarly, purchasing an item from an indigent is considered to be in the same category. The mitzvah of strengthening not only applies to one who helps someone who is lacking, it even applies to the one who is not lacking for your support and making sure that he has parnosa, sustenance, or livelihood through your patronage, through your purchases. By purchasing from a Jew instead of a non-Jewish person, one fulfills this mitzvah of strengthening his fellow. One should ask a rabbi or a rav how much more is he required to pay for an item from a Jewish store. One who fulfills this level by allowing the indigent to pay back the loan little by little at a time, thereby enabling him not to have to borrow again, is an incredible mitzvah of tzedakah. Now the second level of tzedakah is where the benefactor does not know the identity of the recipient and the beneficiary does not know who is the benefactor. One can fulfill this level of giving by giving money to a gabbai or someone from the synagogue who collects charity, or someone who is involved in collecting funds for the poor people and has a reputation of giving that to the poor person. However, it's understood that one should not give his money to a gavai tzedakah who is, he should give it only to a person who is trustworthy and knows how to properly deal with the poor when he comes for assistance. The third level of tzedakah is where the benefactor knows who is receiving the money, but the beneficiary of the money does not know the identity of the benefactor. One can fulfill this level by giving money to a person, having that person give money to a particular indigent person without telling him who is the benefactor, who gave it. Even if the indigent person wants to know who gave it, the person may say that it is his own money in order not to upset the poor man by revealing the true identity of who gave it. In this situation, this is where the middleman comes into play. The gabbai tzedakah comes into play. However, if the gabbai or the person is not reliable, one should try to fulfill the mitzvah in the manner we just described. The fourth level in giving tzedakah is when the benefactor does not know the recipient, who the recipient is. Yet the indigent knows the benefactor's identity. In this way, it is less embarrassing for the indigent to take money since the benefactor does not know who's receiving it. One of the ways of following this would be to give money to someone who gives to a poor person, even if the poor person realizes who the benefactor is. The benefactor does not know the identity of the poor person. The fifth level is where one gives to an indigent person, a poor person, prior to his asking for help. Since the poor person did not have to request help, it's less embarrassing. The rabbis tells us that in merit of one who gives the indigent poor person, before he has to request help, Hashem will take care of his needs before he even asks for it. That's an incredible mitzvah. The 6th level is where one gives the indigent person what he needs only after he has requested. The 7th level is when one gives an indigent person or a poor person some of what he needs, yet gives it with a happy face, a happy countenance, making the poor person feel good. The 8th level is where one gives money to the poor, yet does so with a heavy heart, relentlessly, or with relent. He doesn't really want to give it. Nevertheless, it's still considered a level of tzedakah since the poor are unaware of the donor's negative attitude. There are some additional things. When you give with a smile and you don't show disappointment, one should do it smiling with a happy heart, with simcha, with joy. One should also speak kindly to the poor person and sympathize with the situation. Alternatively, one who dispenses tzedakah to an indigent but demonstrates his displeasure in giving loses the merit of the commandment, the mitzvah. And if he gave a large donation, it is irrelevant, as if not having given. However, one who is unhappy about donating tzedakah but does not make it apparent to the poor person still fulfills the mitzvah of tzedakah. As we have established prior, that the giving of tzedakah, as long as the poor person is not aware of the state of mind of the person, is fine. Giving from the best is a great merit, or to condition oneself to dispense tzedakah from his best possessions. Mehatov v'hayafeh. When fulfilling this mitzvah, from the best and the most beautiful part of his earnings. In fact, this applies to the performance of all commandments. A commandment should be performed by lev shalem, with a wholehearted, not partial-hearted. It should preferably be attended to even with greater care and alacrity than doing it when doing it for oneself. Davening to avoid poverty. Some have the custom of dispensing tzedakah to daven, to pray, that he or his children will never come to the point of needing charity. Making a bracha, making a blessing. When giving tzedakah, one does not have to make a bracha. The right hand. One should give always with his right hand, or his hand of strength. Standing. One should stand when giving tzedakah, just like when one is performing any other mitzvah. Giving to a poor person publicly. One should not give tzedakah to a poor person in public, because the presence of others will embarrass him. Indeed, it would be better not to give than to give to embarrass the other person. And this is so wrong to make it a public issue. I gave $100 to so-and-so. That dismisses the merit of the gift. However, this does not apply in a situation where poor persons themselves are collecting publicly. There's a reason. The reason is that when a poor person approaches people in public, they're demonstrating that they are not embarrassed. Giving a woman in private. A man should not give a woman charity in a private place, in order that people should not suspect that they are involved in a sin, in intimacy. This is very important. I won't go into further than that. Giving on the condition it will be returned. If one gives money out to an indigent on the condition that he will repay it, that individual has not fulfilled the mitzvah of tzedakah. Indigent does not want to accept it. The poor person doesn't want to accept it. One who gives money to a poor person but he does not want to accept it, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah of tzedakah. If the poor person will not recite a bracha on the food, a blessing on the food, we have previously learned that one can fulfill the mitzvah of giving charity by giving to a poor person what he is lacking, including if this are food and drink. One is even permitted to give him food or drink despite of not being sure if the poor person will make a blessing on the food. However, if one knows for certain that the poor person will not make blessing on the food, one is forbidden to give him food. Nevertheless, there are circumstances when one should be even permitted to give him food, knowing that the blessing will not be recited and the poor person is mentally not well. So you are not trying to bring him closer to Yiddishkeit. In this case, you should consult a rabbi what you should do. Do not glorify yourself by utilizing the charity they're going to give. It's not permitted to glorify himself with tzedakah that he has contributed. One who does glorify himself or use his charity to be able to lift himself up forfeits the merit of the tzedakah. Those publicizing those who give tzedakah, even though one may not glorify himself through giving tzedakah, one may write his name on a gift that was donated to, for example, a yeshiva, a shul, a work of charity. When you give, for example, if one contributes a large sum of money to build a yeshiva, sustain what it is, a Jewish organization, he may have his name written on it so people should know that he performed the mitzvah of money to help and sustain that organization. Not only is this permissible, but it's a proper thing to do. As long as one's intention is not to glorify himself, this type of gesture will encourage others to imitate it. The decision or din that one can place his name on something that has been donated is only applicable when the person donated the money for the object, or he physically built it, or is physically involved in co-partaking in the work. For example, if one person built a mikvah, he can have his name placed on it. However, one who collected the money to have it built has no right to place his name on the building. So, in other words, we who have been, the Ways of Israel, have been involved in raising funds to acquire a physical location so we can house our organization. You can be able to donate the money and put your name on it. Not a problem. Just give me a call. There's a dispute among poskim whether one did not have his name placed on the gift at the time of the donation can insist at a later date to have it placed there. Even in the event it were to happen, one should always consult a halakhic authority. If one wants to do something to, for example, a shul, a congregation, an organization, a yeshiva, only on the condition that his name is placed on it, the institution does not have to agree, and the donor cannot force themselves to accept the gift. So we stop here at some of the laws of tzedakah, some of the methods, and we're going to look at, in the next video, some of the order of precedence over giving tzedakah. And we're going to also do some other looking into regarding tithing. What is the minimum amount I should be giving of tzedakah? Should it be the tithe? Should it be 10%? Is 10% tithing still applicable today without a temple? So all of these things we're going to be taking a look at in this series, the laws of tzedakah and Maaseh, the laws of charity and tithing. So stay tuned, continue to follow, and let me say this: if you wish to help the Ways of Israel out, if you wish to be a partaker of our organization, then give me a call, send me an email to rabbiotero@yahoo.com, or just simply go to our website, thewaysofisrael.com, or just write to me. I'll be more than happy to respond to your desire to support our organization. You can also call me at the number 786-306-8211. I'd be more than happy to speak with you in person, or if you prefer, by phone, or whichever way. Shalom, shalom. I wish you and yours a lot of blessings and success. Shalom.